There's a line between tragedy and performance. But what happens when the performance doesn't stop when grief is monetized, sympathy is weaponized, and criticism is spun into victimhood? This is the story of Tophia, known online as Tophia, a woman whose viral rise came not from talent, but from trauma, and what many are now calling a trail of deception. This isn't just about TikTok drama, this is about ethics, grief, and whether we're being emotionally manipulated for views, for cash, for attention. It started with a tragedy, a carjacking, a shooting. A live stream full of tears, Tophia's brother and mother were victims of a violent crime. And as horrifying as that is, the internet did what it often does: it rallied. GoFundMes were created, TikToks went viral, and Tophia was suddenly the face of a personal catastrophe. Donations began pouring in, some from strangers, others from loyal fans who followed her emotional updates.
To address this because I'm so sick and tired of people thinking that it's normal for people on Reddit to contact the morgue with my brother's information, pretend to be his family, and then spread lies and misinformation on the internet about me scamming people out of a GoFundMe I don't have access to. I don't know how many times I have to scream or yell or, get it through people's heads. Maybe someone, I don't know, I need to scream in your ears. Some of you guys need to clean out your ears with Q-tips before you start running your mouth.
Just days after announcing the tragedy, Tophia made a bold admission. They gave me a $500 Grubhub card and I used it. I didn't want to cook, I was tired. I was visiting my mom. Sympathetic? Maybe, but what started raising eyebrows was her continued display of fast food binges, shopping hauls, and dismissive comments toward critics. One TikTok user asked, "Shouldn't this money be used for the funeral?" Tophia clapped back, "You want to be a victim so bad? You're a victim of eating too many Big Macs." It was unhinged. And the tone, not exactly what you'd expect from someone in mourning.
So let's talk about the money I spent at Ross and TJ Maxx's. People want to be in my business and pocket watch. I want to say F-U-C-K-E-N, but I can't cuss because TikTok will take this down. So let me show you, because since you want to be nosy, my mom's family is probably going to yell at me for this video. I don't care, but it needs to be addressed. So I'm going to make this video. Do you see this lovely little card that was condolences for my mom's family? This lovely little card had $300 in it. You know where the $300 went? To Ross and TJ Maxx. You know why? Because I needed pajamas that I didn't have to sleep in because I was sleeping in jeans. I only had one pajama that I bought from Walmart. On top of the stuff that I bought, I did go shopping at Walmart with a $200 gift card that the crime victims unit gave me, on top of a $500 gift card to Grubhub, which I can't find the receipts in Grubhub because it's disappeared. But I spent $500 of that gift card to Grubhub because people want to say, well, you bought Grubhub with what money? I didn't pay for any of that food with any money.
They say you can tell a lot about someone by how they spend their money. In Tophia's case, it paints a picture far more disturbing than anyone could have expected. After the death of her brother and the emotional avalanche that followed, most assumed Tophia would lay low, grieve, maybe even reflect, but instead she hit the mall. No, not for essentials, not for grief therapy, but for boba, bags, and bizarre behavior. The final straw came when a mall employee came forward. Maddie claimed she had seen Tophia at the mall multiple times, drinking expensive boba, carrying new backpacks, always with a crew of new friends. "I live in the same city as her. She is always at the mall, and I see her buying boba all the time. She is spending money on the wrong things. I have a picture evidence, by the way." Tophia, with her recognizable face, captured alongside a new posse, alleged friends from the women's shelter where she had been staying. But one detail grabbed attention the most. One of Tophia's companions appeared to be wearing an ankle monitor. The community dubbed her Ankle a Chew. Now let's be clear, wearing an ankle monitor doesn't automatically make someone dangerous, but it does make things complicated. Especially when you're roaming shopping malls in a group that includes a viral TikTok grifter with thousands of dollars in donations, a history of manipulative live streams, and a GoFund campaign that many now believe was deeply misleading. When the donations dried up and the heat online became unbearable, Tophia didn't disappear. She repositioned herself. And her next move wasn't healing, it was infiltration. Tophia, now living in a women's homeless shelter, was thought to be at rock bottom. But insiders tell a different story. This wasn't rock bottom for her. This was the launchpad for her next grift. Inside the shelter, Tophia wasn't just a resident. She quickly became a center of attention, forming cliques, leveraging sympathy, and aligning herself with people who either didn't know about her internet past or didn't care. One source alleges Tophia began referring to herself as a kind of influencer in exile, portraying herself as a victim of TikTok cancel culture, rather than someone who misused a GoFund meant to bury her own brother. But let's look closer. Her new shelter friends weren't just emotional support. They became props in TikToks, tag-alongs in shopping trips, potential enablers, or worse, unwitting accomplices in her ongoing online deception. And remember Ankle Chew from Chapter 3? Well, according to users on the Tophia subreddit, she's not the only sketchy character in Tophia's new orbit. Photos reveal to other regulars hanging around Tophia, and the speculation is grim. One woman possibly on parole, another with children taken by CPS, and none of them seemingly aware that Tophia has access to thousands in donation money she publicly denies having. She's using people who have nothing to make herself look like she has friends. She's buying boba and bags while pretending to be broke. It's sick, one Redditor wrote. But here's where it gets darker. Multiple people now believe Tophia is using her time at this shelter to collect new sympathy stories. She tells donors she's surrounded by trauma, that she's protecting abused women, that she's a mother figure now, says an anonymous tipster. But in reality, she's taking and giving nothing back. In one leaked livestream clip, Tophia even jokes about how lucky she was to land in a shelter full of cool people. That might sound harmless until you realize she's built an entirely new narrative for TikTok, centered around her survival, her struggle, and the community of warriors she now claims to be part of. Yet behind the scenes, she's reportedly moaning about having to do chores, dodging shelter responsibilities, and even allegedly refusing job training workshops designed to help residents become independent.
It is so depressing that people think I'm supposed to just get up and go get a job.
Instead of bettering herself, Tophia seems more focused on curating content. She's rebuilding her brand, but this time, it's not Tophia the content creator, it's Tophia the misunderstood survivor, and the shelter. It's just another backdrop for the show. She's living rent-free, surrounded by vulnerable people. Using their lives to continue her influencer persona, Tophia isn't down and out. She's just rebranding rock bottom as content. And that might be the most dangerous version of her yet. For someone who claimed to be done with online donations, Tophia sure has a hard time staying away from GoFund. When Tophia first launched the GoFund following her brother's tragic passing, it was supposed to be a simple, solemn gesture, raise enough money to give him a proper burial, and in a matter of days, she did. Reports suggest she received over $7,000, with additional funds pouring in through Cash App, Venmo, and government assistance. But what happened next? A complete silence. And what about the ashes? Still at the funeral home? The funeral never happened. The money? That's where the mystery begins. For weeks, Tophia deflected questions. She claimed she didn't have access to the funds yet. She was figuring out transportation, and eventually that she was just too overwhelmed to deal with it.
Family gave me money after my brother's service and I went and got stuff. And I guess someone filmed me and said I was using the GoFundMe money. I don't have access to it. My brother's friend does. And so GoFundMe is, I don't know if they're looking into it. They're still looking into it.
Yeah, see, you know what probably it is? I'm not going to lie to you. Once the state helps you and you get that $6,000 from them, you're not allowed to set a GoFundMe page.
And then as backlash exploded online, the GoFund quietly vanished. No updates, no refund notices, no closure. Many assumed it was over. That she had been exposed, that donors had finally caught on. But in mid-2025, something unbelievable happened. The GoFund was back, not just reopened, relaunched. With a slightly altered description, fewer details, and a tone that was strangely detached from the urgency of her original posts, people were confused and started saying that why is it back up? Didn't she already raise this money? Isn't this double dipping? The subreddit and commentary channels blew up. Theories flew. Was she reusing the link to scam new donors? Did she blow through the original funds on boba and backpacks and now needed a refill? Let's look at the timeline. Original GoFund raised approximately $7,000 and government assistance reportedly $6,000. Multiple public receipts show individual donations of $50, $200. Still unconfirmed, where did the money go? She claimed she was homeless and broke, yet showed up live in new clothes, with bubble tea in hand, joking about not wanting a job and saying she'd rather end it all than work.
I want to address something because it's really bothering me. I don't know why there's a lot of people that think my supporters are broke and have no jobs, but then actively saying that I'm making fun of people with jobs. When you literally don't know why people can't get a job or don't have jobs, or if they don't, because a lot of my supporters own businesses. So yeah, to assume some of my supporters don't have a job is crazy while actively complaining. Like, why are you complaining for? It just doesn't make sense that you will literally get mad at me but allow people to do certain things, considering the fact that I was not talking about all people with jobs. I don't know how many times I have to explain that. If you felt hit, that was because maybe it was about you, and if it doesn't apply, let it fly. That they literally tell my supporters, and I've seen it in the comments, like, go get a job, and they'll be like, I have a job. And especially telling me that I don't have a real job. That sounds like the parents, you know, those parents that are like, singing's not a real job. It doesn't put food on the table. Who deemed you the police of what a real job is? Thank you for the roses. Get it braided. It's too expensive. I don't got money. Like, I literally have to wait for the GoFundMe to process so my brother could get. I don't have money to get it braided, especially because that's like $400 I don't have. I have toner, but I just didn't want to tone it. Oh, people like to hide behind fake accounts, and it's so funny. It's like, come on your real account and say that, because you don't stand by that. You're just mad that people are holding you accountable. That's the funny thing about the Reddit also, is that they're mad about supporters attacking them. Well, maybe because they're holding you accountable and you don't like that. My nose. It's just like...
Is it just financial mismanagement or deliberate deception? Here's what we do know Tophia has never provided. Proof of funeral expenses, transfer confirmations from GoFund, receipts for the cremation, or closure for the people who gave her their hard-earned money. Instead, she's doubling down on the victim narrative, claiming now that the government took her money or that she was tricked by people pretending to help. People don't realize how hard it is to bury someone. It's trauma, not a transaction, she said on Live while sipping a $9 milk tea. And yet, the funeral home still hasn't released the ashes. Donors are now publicly asking for chargebacks. Reddit users are organizing to report her new GoFund, and a few former fans have even begun contacting fraud hotlines, claiming they were misled. This is no longer just internet drama, it's potentially fraud. You can't use your brother's death to bankroll boba runs, but for Tophia? That line has been long crossed, and the money trail isn't just cold, it's burned to ash, just like what she never picked up. They banned her again and again and again. But just like a cockroach after a bomb, Tophia kept crawling back. When the first ban hit, many people thought it was over. Tophia's 1 million follower TikTok account was permanently removed, likely due to a mixture of inappropriate live streams, suspected exploitation for cash donations, multiple community guideline violations, and endless drama. But like some twisted phoenix, she came back. Not once, not twice, but over 5 times. Each new username was more cryptic than the last. Sometimes it was a selfie. Sometimes a black screen with her whispering, "I'm back, haters." She blamed the bans on jealous people, on transphobia, on God testing her, but what she never did was take accountability. Her newer accounts became increasingly bizarre. One featured Bible readings, where she claimed she was chosen by God to rebuild her life. Another had her streaming with a tongue-out filter, dancing and begging for just $5 for shelter. In one particularly unsettling moment, she went live outside a Target, crying on camera, saying, "If I don't get $50 in 30 minutes, I won't make it to tomorrow." People were horrified, not by the situation, but by how clearly manipulative it was. Let's be honest, Tophia knows how to manipulate attention. Her new content started following a formula. Step 1, go live from a new account. Step 2, cry or claim a medical emergency. Step 3, drop her Cash App link. Step 4, blame everyone but herself. Step 5, repeat. Step 6, ban happens again. And the sad part, it worked. Hundreds still tuned in, people still donated. New followers who didn't know the full story were pulled in with pity. But here's where it gets darker. Tophia started lashing out at critics, Reddit users, and even former fans. She accused them of harassment, of stalking, of stealing her joy. In one live stream, she looked dead into the camera and said, "All of you will go to hell. My brother is with the angels, and I'm protected by him now." A moment of grief, maybe, but it felt more like weaponized guilt. Meanwhile, her content became harder and harder to follow. Claims that she was being watched, videos of her crying in random public bathrooms, TikToks of her walking alone at night, captioned, "Still no shelter, still no help." But God is watching. She started implying that she was being targeted by the government, poisoned, even spiritually attacked by haters. This wasn't just someone who lost her way. This was someone spiraling and dragging others down with her. When the world stopped listening, she screamed louder, but no matter how many times she gets banned, she comes back like a virus without a cure, like a signal you just can't block. And the question now is, how far is Tophia willing to go to stay relevant?
The whole couldn't imagine having to clock into a job was not towards people that have a job. It was towards someone that literally attacked me saying that they're clocking into work. I have trauma. I can't work. And for you to tell me, because you literally, for you to sit here and for you to tell me that I don't have a job and laugh at me because you don't know why someone doesn't have a job, and I literally said that I have trauma and I'm getting evaluated to get disability. You as a person sitting here making fun of someone not having a job and then getting mad when someone says something is crazy to me, because what about those homeless people or people that are having a hard time getting a job? Because you think you're better than someone because you have a 9-to-5 job. Stop. I would love to clock into work. I would love to clock into work, but I can't because I have to sit here and watch my back all the time because someone's filming me. Someone literally filmed my mom at the hospital. People have no boundaries whatsoever when it comes to Reddit. And when I say, please leave me alone, people don't. People are yelling out their car, which, to a certain extent, like, they're not being rude. But my trauma,
And then the conspiracy theories began. Why wasn't Tophia shot in the carjacking? Why did the attacker allegedly try to pull her out of the car unharmed after shooting both the driver and her mother? Why is the case still under investigation if the shooter is already dead? Some theorists, like user Squid, even implied Tophia may have known the shooter. That she may have orchestrated something. We are not endorsing those claims. But we are saying this, the timeline doesn't add up. And if there's one thing the internet is good at, it's spotting inconsistencies.
I'm just gonna say it because it's been bugging me since it happened. I think this whole Tophia situation, the carjacking, the shooting, is incredibly suspicious. Because why didn't he shoot everyone in the car? Why did he shoot the driver first? Why did he try to pull Tophia out alive, uninjured, but he didn't try to pull out the driver? She woke up to a pop, and then she said that they were both already shot. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know if she made it up. I don't know if she's in on it. I don't know. Something doesn't feel right. You can bully me all you want to. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care if I'm wrong. I don't care if I'm right. I'm just saying. It feels weird. It feels suspicious. It feels like she's making this up as she goes along. Because why the f didn't she get shot? Why didn't he just shoot all three of them? If it was so quick. If he was able to shoot Donald and her mother, why wasn't he able to shoot her? Why didn't he shoot her? Why did he try to pull her out of the car? Also, why are the police still investigating? They said that they're still investigating. They're still looking into it to try to figure out a motive. They know who did it. And he's dead, so like they don't need to like find him or put him in custody or do an investigation to find him, but they're looking for a motive. Suspicious. Also, the fact that they haven't told us who these people are yet. I'm not saying that they have to, but it's usually they do. Usually they release names. It's weird.